We got a massive Cowboys trade update as this crazy report is linking them to Davante Adams, and we know that they need some help at a lot of positions, but getting one of the elite receivers in the game could really propel them to winning the division. So we'll break that down and much more on this episode of Cowboys Digest. Welcome in everybody to Cowboys Digest. I'm your host Peter Vryonis, and today we'll be breaking down the report that came out just moments ago regarding Davante Adams and the Dallas Cowboys. Now, there is no deal imminent as of right now, but we know that Davante Adams wants out of Las Vegas, and when a star player wants out, he tends to get his way pretty quickly. Before we get into the video, I want to let you know that around 85% of you watching these videos are not subscribed, so go ahead, hit that sub button. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me out a ton. We're almost at my goal of 1,000 subscribers, so it would mean the world to me if you could help me get there, and we're very close, so go ahead, do it for me. It means the world. But let's get straight into it right here. Let's take a look. Davante Adams has informed the Raiders that he prefers to be traded. This was just moments ago, as I was talking about here. And the Jets and Cowboys are among the many teams monitoring the Davante Adams situation. Both have checked in with the Raiders. I'm told at this point that Vegas is in no rush to make a move until a team reaches their asking price. But Adams wants out ASAP. Now, I've seen conflicting reports here saying that the asking price is as much as a first round pick, could even be a second round pick. Like we're not exactly sure what the Raiders are looking for or how much they're looking for per se, but I've heard that it's a second round pick and an impact player right away. I don't know if the Cowboys have too many impact players that they can afford to ship out, especially with all the injuries that have gone down in the past couple of weeks here and to even start the season. But make no mistake about it, Davante Adams makes this team so much better. And I know I made a video on Deontay Johnson the other day that the Cowboys were linked to him as well. I know that wide receiver is not the most pressing issue right now for the Cowboys, but at the same time, I don't think that it could hurt getting an elite wide receiver like Davante Adams. It definitely can hurt because if you line him across from CeeDee Lamb, I mean, that just adds another wrinkle to your offense that'll make it easier to run the ball, first of all. It'll improve all aspects of your offense. It'll help out Dak Prescott. It'll help out CeeDee Lamb be more productive. A lot of teams are going to have to zone in on your passing game, and for that reason, you'll be able to run the ball a lot more as well. So I understand that it's not the biggest need for the Dallas Cowboys right now, but apart from CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson, they don't have any reliable receivers. So getting a guy like Davante Adams, whose stats are pretty damn good, let me remind you guys, is putting up 1,000 yards pretty much in his sleep here. I think that helps out the Cowboys immensely. Does it solve their defensive line issues? No. Does it help them run the football? Yes. Yes, it will, because it adds another weapon to this offense that is starved for talent. So you need talent. Talent wins you football games. Obviously, grit and determination and team culture win you football games as well. But talent usually trumps all of those things. So getting as much talent as you can would be very beneficial to Jerry Jones. Two teams high up on Davante Adams' wish list of places to land, if not at the very top, are the Jets and Saints per league sources. Adams ideally would like to play with a QB he knows. The Jets have former teammate Aaron Rodgers, and the Saints have former teammate Derek Carr, who he is very good friends with till this day. So maybe this is a bit of an uphill battle for the Dallas Cowboys, but maybe they could put together the best package. I know it's not a very Jerry Jones-like thing to do, to go out and trade for a rental, but you have no choice at this point. You said you were going to go all in 2024, 2025. You've yet to do so. And the clock is ticking. I know no team in the division is really running away with it right now. I mean, the Commanders look like the best team in the NFC East. But apart from that, I mean, it feels pretty wide open. And if you make a move like this, you got to believe that the pendulum does swing and that it does swing in your favor. So I understand that it's kind of against the grain for Jerry Jones and it's not really something that he does, but you're in a desperate situation right now and your defense is really struggling. You got to try to outscore teams. You really do. And you're not going to fix your defense with this trade. But what you can do is make your offense that much more dominant and add some more wrinkles to it. And that way you could win football games in different ways until you get Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence back. It's been a long, long time since the Cowboys have had two elite wide receivers. I can't even remember the last time that that's happened. But now, if you bring in Tay and you give yourself that chance, a second round pick for one of the best receivers of this generation, I think is a fair asking price. Now, if the Raiders want to add on top of that, I mean, then that gets a little bit tricky, and maybe it shies Jerry Jones away from making the move. But I don't know if you can deny this. If the deal is on the table, the Cowboys need to try to take advantage of this. And Davante Adams says he hasn't heard from Antonio Pierce, who liked an Instagram post suggesting that Davante may have played his last down with Vegas. That to me is just a total no go from Antonio Pierce. And I really liked what he did coming into the year last year with with the Raiders, and I thought he established a culture there. But so far this season, I mean, there just hasn't really been much to look forward to here. And Davante Adams wants out. He's fed up. The quarterback play has been subpar for the majority of his time in Las Vegas. Sorry, and I think it's really starting to weigh on him now. He knows that he can do better. He knows that he can go someplace where he will do better. And whether that's the Jets, whether that's the Saints, I mean, he'd rather play with a QB that he knows, but Dak Prescott is a pretty damn good quarterback, and I think you'd get paid handsomely in free agency if you played with a quarterback like Dak Prescott. I feel like this could be beneficial for both sides. I mean, the writing is clearly on the wall here. The writing is clearly on the wall for the Raiders and the departure of Davante Adams. I don't know if I can see this working in a way where he stays. Obviously, he didn't play last week, and Antonio Pierce doesn't seem to be too fond of the attitude that he's been displaying, and I'm not too fond of what Antonio Pierce is displaying either. I find it very unprofessional for a guy that I thought did a great job last year, stepping in as the interim head coach. But who knows? I mean, this is a very weird situation. I mean, I'm sure it'll get resolved very quickly because usually star players in the National Football League or the National Basketball Association, they get their way when they want something. So I'm sure Tay will get his way eventually. Now, whether he gets himself onto the New York Jets roster or the Saints roster remains to be seen. But this is an encouraging report here. The Jets and the Cowboys are among the many teams monitoring the situation, and they both checked in with the Raiders. So that to me is a sign that Jerry is going to be aggressive on this. He should be aggressive on this, and there's no reason why the deal can't get done if the asking price isn't too high. I mean, maybe you'll have to outbid some teams, but the Raiders and the Cowboys did make a trade a few years back with Amari Cooper, and they have a good relationship front office to front office. So let's wait and see. But this is a very interesting report. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you want to see the Cowboys sign the trade for Davante Adams? Because I definitely do. Even though it's not their biggest need right now, which is the wide receiver position, I still think this could be a huge benefit to a lot of areas on the offense. So let me know in the comments down below. Would you want Tay on the team? I do, absolutely. But I'll see you all tomorrow, and go Cowboys.